here we are asked to graph the system of inequalities. Okay, the first inequality is y less than or equal to x plus 2. So let me do that one in red. If I were to replace x with 0, xy, if I were to replace x with 0, that would force y to be equal to 2. And so when I come down into the graphing mode, I'm going to go to 0, 2. I notice that it has a slope of 1. The slope of this line is 1. So I need to go up to 1, left 1, or right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1. This is a solid line, so I'm going to draw a line that is solid through there. And if I were to test my typical testing point of 0, 0, notice that 0, 0 would make this say 0 less than or equal to 2, which is true. So we're going to be below this particular line. Next, 2x plus 3y less than 18. Let's do that one in black. So if x were equal to 0, y would be 6. And if y were equal to 0, x would have to be 9. So we need to go through the points 0, 6 and 9, 0. Because if we replace x with 0, y would be 6. And y with 0 would yield x to be 9. So coming down to the graph, we need to make sure that we go through 0, 6 and also 9, 0. Because this is less than, we now need to make the line that connects these points be a dashed line. So I'm going to line them up nicely and dash those points to make this line. And then again, by testing 0, 0, I can see that this would say 0 is less than 18, which is also a true statement, right? Because 0 is indeed less than 18. Third case, let's go for the green. Okay, so in this equation, we have a y-intercept of 0, 3, and then we have a slope of negative 2/3. So for graphing that line, I'm going to go to 0, 3, and I'm going to acknowledge the slope of negative 2/3. So I'm going to rise negative 2 and run 3. 1, 2, 3. Or backwards, right? Rise positive 2, run negative 3. This was also a bigger than, so it is going to be a dashed line as well. So as I get these points lined up in my graph, I will connect them and draw in a dashed line for them. And by testing 0, 0, I can see that 0 bigger than negative 3, that is a true statement, which means I will be shading above this line. So coming down here, I got it above here. Ooh, okay. One last line to do, which is the x minus 3y bigger than or equal to 9. So for that equation, for that inequality, if I let x equal 0, y would be equal to negative 3. And if I were to let y be 0, x would be equal to positive 9. So this one needs to go through 0, negative 3 and 9, 0. It was a bigger than or equal to, so this one's going to be a solid line. And so I will connect them. And for this particular case, when I come back and I test 0, 0, is 0 bigger than or equal to 9? That is a false statement. So I don't want to shade the region that's above. I actually need to shade below this one. So interestingly, what happened here was that the red line was not really useful to the actual ended up shaded region, which was below black, below blue, above green, and everything's below red. So our region of shading should be this region right here.